Welcome back to the deep dive. We're digging into a stack of reports today that basically bridge two completely different universes.
They really do.
On one side, you've got the absolute cutting edge of spatial computing, augmented reality.
Right.
And on the other, the incredibly rigid, high stakes, and let's be honest, often bureaucratic world of pharmaceutical manufacturing.
It's a bit of an odd couple, isn't it? When you think AR, you usually think, what, video games?
Video games, yeah.
Or maybe like a fighter pilot helmet? You don't typically think of hairnets and pill presses.
Exactly. And we're going to get very specific today. We have this fascinating case study on Teva Malta. They're a huge player in the pharma world.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically decided to declare war on their own administrative processes. But before we get to the factory floor, I want to start with a little timeline check.
Okay.
Because I think most of us, and I'll include myself here, have a serious recency bias when it comes to augmented reality.
You're talking about the Pokemon Go effect, I assume?
The Pokemon Go effect. Totally.
Yeah.
If I ask the average person, or honestly, if you asked me before I read these notes, when AR was invented, I'd probably say 2015?
Right.
Maybe 2010 if I'm being generous and thinking of some early smartphone app.
Yeah, that's what most people would say. But we need to go back way, way further.
How far?
We need to go to 1968.
1968. Okay, let's just pause on that. In 1968, we haven't landed on the moon yet.
Not yet.
The internet is barely a concept in some DARPA lab.
Yeah.
Computers are the size of, like, a living room. And someone is building AR.
His name was Ivan Sutherland. He's a computer scientist, and a lot of people call him the father of computer graphics.
Okay.
And he built a system that, technically speaking, did exactly what an Apple Vision Pro or a HoloLens does now. It overlaid digital wireframes onto the user's view of the physical world.
But the hardware. I
Right.
mean, looking at the photos in these sources, it is absolutely terrifying.
It is.
It doesn't look like a gadget. It looks like a medical procedure gone wrong.
Yeah, it's total nightmare fuel. You have to remember, the computing power to do this in real time was massive. But the headset itself was just dense with glass and metal. It was so heavy.
Hell heavy.
So heavy that a human neck literally could not support it. It would risk injury.
It's such a stark contrast to where we are now.
Mm.
But the core concept, the why behind it, that was already there, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. His vision was profound. He wrote this paper called The Ultimate Display. He believed a computer shouldn't just be a screen you look at.
Yeah.
It should be a window into a mathematical wonderland, as he put it. He saw that if you could overlay data onto reality, you could just fundamentally change how humans process information.
He just didn't have the microchips to make it portable.
Not even close.
So we have the vision in 1968, but it takes, almost 60 years to get the hardware off the ceiling and onto our faces.
Yeah.
In a way that's actually useful.
And that brings us to our case study today.
To Teva Malta.
Exactly, because for a long time, AR was a solution looking for a problem. It was just a gimmick.
Look, a dinosaur on my coffee table.
Yeah, exactly that. It's fun, but is it useful? Teva found a place where overlaying information wasn't a gimmick at all. It was a necessity to survive their own process.
And this is where we need to set the scene. For anyone listening who hasn't been in a manufacturing plant, we're not talking about assembled toys here. This is pharma.
The stakes are completely different. Life and death, really. And because of that, the regulation is just suffocating. They follow something called GMP good manufacturing practices.
And that isn't just try your best.
Not at all. It's prove you did every single step correctly in writing with a timestamp and a signature.
And this creates what the reports call the paperwork beast. I love that term. It feels so visceral.
It is a beast.
Describe it for us. What does it look like on a Tuesday morning at a pill factory?
It looks like friction, just constant friction. Let's say you're a machine operator. You just finished a batch of painkillers. Now you need to switch the machine over to make, say, antibiotics.
Okay, changeover.
Right. In a normal factory, maybe you just swap a nozzle and wipe it down. In pharma, it's like a forensic crime scene cleanup.
Because of the cross-contamination risk.
Yeah.
Right.
Precisely. If one tiny speck of penicillin gets into a non-penicillin drug, you could trigger a fatal allergy in a patient. So this whole line clearance process is incredibly rigorous.
And this is where the clipboard comes in.
The literal physical clipboard. The operator walks around, they check pressure gauges, temperature settings, they verify that every screw is tightened to a specific torque. And for every single action,
I have to stop.
they have to stop, pick up a pen, and initial a box.
This sounds so disjointed. You're doing the work, then stopping to write about the work you just did.
It completely destroys your flow. And it introduces what we call cognitive load. You're relying on your memory, or you're constantly flipping through pages in a binder to find the next instruction.
Did I tighten valve A before valve B?
Exactly. Let me check the binder. Oh, wait, the page is torn. Now I have to go find my supervisor.
And that's just one part of it. The beast has two heads, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's the review process.
That's the second head, and it might be even hungrier. Once the batch is done, that whole stack of paper goes to a reviewer.
So a highly paid person's entire job is to sit in a room and read the operator's handwriting.
To try and decipher the handwriting and make sure they didn't miss a single checkbox. If they find one mistake, the whole batch might be quarantined.
It just feels so archaic. We have self-driving cars, but we're securing the global drug supply with ballpoint pens and 3-ring binders.
It's all legacy systems. It works, but it's incredibly slow. And that's exactly what Teva Malta wanted to attack. They realized this paperwork beast was eating their capacity.
It wasn't the machines that were slow.
No, the machines were fine. It was the process of managing the machines that was slow.
So enter augmented reality. And to be clear, this isn't about just giving everyone an iPad.
An iPad still needs your hands. That's a key bottleneck. No, they deployed AR smart glasses.
Which brings us right back to Ivan Sutherland, just without the ceiling bolts.
Exactly.
Walk me through it. I'm an operator. I put on the glasses. What do I actually see?
You see your machine, just like normal, but floating in the air, anchored to specific points of that machine, you see digital indicators. The glasses use spatial computing. They scan the room. They recognize the machine's geometry.
So it knows exactly where the start button is or where that one specific pressure valve is located.
Precisely. So instead of reading a line in a manual that says, turn the pressure valve 90 degrees clockwise.
I see a big green arrow wrapped around the actual valve in the real world.
Exactly. A green arrow telling you exactly what to do. It says, pull this lever. It's basically turn-by-turn GPS for the manufacturing process.
I've seen it described in the notes as a cheat code for work.
That is a very, very apt analogy.
You know, in a video game, when you're stuck, you can sometimes toggle on a glowing line that shows you exactly where to walk. It removes all the uncertainty. You just follow the line.
And that removal of the search for information is where all the efficiency is hiding. It just dramatically reduces that cognitive load we talked about.
So the worker doesn't need to memorize the manual.
The manual is projected right onto the world in front of them. This lets them focus entirely on the execution, the quality of the movement, the cleanliness of the part, not on managing the bureaucracy of the checklist.
And the data capture is automatic. I don't have to stop and initial anything.
Right. When the glasses camera sees you turn the valve, or you maybe voice confirm a step, it logs it digitally.
No pen, no paper.
No flipping pages, you're starving the beast.
Okay, so the tech is cool. It's sci-fi come to life, for sure. But I want to be the skeptic for a second.
Go for it.
Did it actually work? I mean, we've all seen companies roll out some innovation that's just a distraction, a cool toy that ends up on a shelf. What about the bottom line?
This is where the case study gets really compelling. They tracked the metrics rigorously. They looked at two specific things. The time spent on those machine changeovers.
Right, switching from drug A to drug B.
And the time spent reviewing the documents after the fact.
So let's do the changeovers first, because that's downtime. That's a machine sitting silent, not making any money.
Correct. In a single year, on just the lines where they implemented this, get this, they saved nearly 700 hours on changeovers.
700 hours just from switching the machines over.
Just on changeovers. That is 700 hours that the machine was running and producing medicine instead of being clean or adjusted. In manufacturing, uptime is everything.
That is massive. But what about the document review? The back office friction?
This part is arguably even more impressive. Because the data was captured digitally and verified by the system in real time, the system won't even let you proceed if you miss a step. The review process became trivial.
So how much time did they save there?
They saved over 400 hours on document review alone.
Okay, so quick math. That's 700 plus 400. We're talking about 1,100 hours saved.
1,100 hours in 1 year.
You know, I feel like big numbers like that can just wash over you. Oh, 1,000 hours, that's nice.
Right.
But the report uses this analogy that really stuck with me. It said finding 1,100 hours is like finding half a person's working year in the sofa cushions.
It really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? A standard work year is about 2,000 hours. So they essentially generated a new, highly specialized employee for free just by getting rid of the friction of paper.
Found in the sofa cushions. It's so perfect. You know when you stick your hand in the couch and find a quarter? Teva Malta stuck their hand in the couch of their factory floor and pulled out half a person.
It just highlights that massive hidden cost of inefficiency. That time was always there, but it was just being eaten by the process, by the paperwork beast.
So the AR didn't create new time.
No, it reclaimed lost time.
And that's the real aha moment for me. We think of tech making things faster, like a faster car. But this is more like removing the deep mud you were trying to run through.
That's a great way to put it. And for you listening, think about what that means. It's not just about corporate profits. It's about removing that administrative burden from the workers on the floor.
I do want to push back on this a little bit, though, or at least play devil's advocate. Is there a danger here?
How so?
If the glasses are telling you exactly which lever to pull, turn this, pull that, do the operators stop understanding why they're pulling it? Are we de-skilling the workforce?
That is the de-skilling argument, and it's a very valid concern. If the GPS always tells you where to drive, you eventually forget how to read a map.
Right.
But in this context, Teva argues, and the data seems to suggest, it's actually the opposite.
How is it the opposite?
Because the instructions can include context. It's not just a glowing arrow. It can be a pop-up video that explains the mechanism, or a safety warning that says, watch out for a pressure spike here because of X, Y, and Z.
So it's a constant, real-time training tool.
Exactly. It upskills new workers way faster than the old just follow the veteran around method. It democratizes the expertise.
You don't need the person who's been there for 20 years to stand over your shoulder.
The glasses are the person who's been there for 20 years.
That's a powerful shift. It moves the knowledge from an individual's head into the system, but keeps the system accessible to the person.
And it scales. That's the key. You can update the software for a new procedure instantly across the whole factory. You can't update 100 people's memories that easily.
It really feels like we're closing the loop on Sutherland's original vision from 1968.
Absolutely.
From the sword of Damocles, heavy, dangerous, tethered to the ceiling, to this lightweight tool that just liberates time.
It's the maturation of a technology. We've moved past the wow phase into the work phase.
Yeah.
And the work phase is usually boring to the general public because it's not about catching Pikachu. But that's where the real revolution happens. In quiet factories in Malta, saving 400 hours on compliance checks.
It's the invisible revolution. It's not a flashy product launch. It's a line item on an efficiency report. But that line item represents a huge shift in how we interact with the physical world.
And the paperwork beast is just the first target.
That's what I was just thinking. If you can overlay data on a pill press, you can overlay it on anything, a jet engine repair.
A surgical procedure.
Even simpler stuff, like warehouse logistics.
We're already seeing it in those fields. But the pharma case is so special because that regulatory barrier was so high. If you can trust AR to handle the legal compliance of drug making, you can pretty much trust it with anything.
It's the ultimate stress test. And it passed.
With flying colors.
So to recap what we've uncovered in this deep dive, we started with the idea that AR is new. It's not. It's a child of the 60s, born from a device so heavy it literally threatened to crush its user.
The sword of Damocles. A brilliant, terrifying start.
Then we looked at how Teva Malta took that core technology and aimed it squarely at their paperwork beast.
All that friction of compliance, manual logs, and endless checking of boxes, they replaced clipboards with spatial computing.
And the results were just undeniable. 1,100 hours saved in a single year. Half a person's entire work year reclaimed from the administrative void.
Proving that the best interface is often no interface at all, just the world, annotated.
It's a fascinating study in how future tech becomes current utility. But before we sign off, I want to leave you, the listener, with a thought to chew on. We've talked about the paperwork piece. It's easy to spot, right? It's piles of paper, binders, waiting rooms, signatures.
It's visible friction.
Right. But as this technology gets better, as the glasses get smaller, maybe even become contact lenses one day, what are the invisible beasts we can kill?
That's the real question, isn't it?
If you could have a cheat code for any part of your job or your life, what would it be? Is it the social anxiety beast, where the glasses remind you of someone's name at a party?
Or the dietary beast, showing you the nutritional content of food just by looking at it on the shelf?
Exactly. The paperwork beast is dead. What's next on the list?
I think that's a challenge for the developers and for us, the users, to figure out the tech is here. We just have to point it at the right problems.
Stay curious, everyone. The world is getting a digital layer, whether we're ready for it or not. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.